There are moments in human history when fear takes on a shape so vast, so unimaginable, that our hearts struggle to hold it. Tonight, I want you to close your eyes for just a second and picture this not a war, not a natural disaster, not even the end caused by our own mistakes, but something far greater, something silent, invisible, and unstoppable. Somewhere in the endless ocean of space drifts a monster without a face, without a sound, without mercy. A rogue black hole. It doesn't glow. It doesn't roar. It simply moves like a shadow across the stars, swallowing everything in its path. Entire suns vanish as though they never existed. Galaxies tremble when it drifts too close. And now, imagine this terrifying wanderer setting its course toward us, toward our fragile little Earth. Think about it. Everything you know of the sky, the oceans, the laughter of children, the beating of your own heart hanging in the balance against an invisible force of nature that bends light, time, and reality itself. No weapon could stop it. No wall could hold it back. It wouldn't care about our borders, our nations, our history. It would come for everything, without pause, without thought, without reason. And yet, perhaps the scariest part is not the destruction itself, but how silently it would all begin. Astronomers might notice stars flickering strangely, their paths bending unnaturally, a whisper of danger in the dark. At first, no one would believe it. People would continue with their lives, scrolling on their phones, going to work, planning birthdays. But above them, hidden in the vastness of space, an invisible predator would already be on its way. What happens when science collides with fate? What happens when we realize the universe is not a safe home, but a wild ocean, filled with storms far beyond our control? And the ultimate question, if Earth was hit by a rogue black hole, what would happen to us? Would we stand united in the face of oblivion? Or would humanity dissolve into fear before the darkness even touched us? This is not just science fiction. Rogue black holes exist, and they are out there, wandering. The only uncertainty is when will one cross our path? Before we dive deep into this journey together, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community. Because tonight, we are going to walk a path into the very heart of the universe's greatest nightmare and discover what it would mean if Earth was hit by a rogue black hole. The universe is a place of wonder and beauty, but it is also a place of unimaginable danger. Beyond the glittering stars and glowing galaxies, there are cosmic predators, forces of nature so powerful that even light itself cannot escape. Among them lies the most terrifying of all, the black hole. Most black holes remain anchored, hidden in galaxies where they were born. But not all. Some are wanderers, some are rogues. They drift across the universe with no fixed path, moving silently through the darkness, swallowing everything unfortunate enough to stand in their way. And if one of these rogue black holes ever entered our neighborhood, our solar system, our Earth, the results would be catastrophic beyond imagination. In this documentary, we will explore what would truly happen if Earth was hit by a rogue black hole. We'll travel from the first subtle warnings in the night sky to the final moments of our world. We'll feel the emotions of discovery, fear, and the question of survival. And beyond destruction, we'll also ask, what does this reveal about our fragile existence in the cosmos? This is not just science. It is a journey into awe, terror, and the deepest mysteries of life itself. Black holes. Even the name alone carries a weight of mystery and fear. They are not just objects in space. They are the universe's ultimate traps regions, where gravity becomes so powerful that nothing, not even light, can escape. To stand before one would be like standing at the edge of infinity, staring into a place where the laws of nature collapse. Scientists describe them as tears in the fabric of reality, places where time and space bend, twist, and eventually break. They are not alive, yet they behave like cosmic predators, swallowing stars, gas, and entire planets without a sound, leaving behind only silence and darkness. To understand how something so terrifying comes into existence, we must go back to the heart of a dying star. When a massive star, many times larger than our sun, burns through its fuel, it cannot fight against its own gravity anymore. The star collapses inward in a violent explosion called a supernova, and what remains is a singularity, a point so dense that all of its mass is crushed into an unimaginable tiny space. Around it forms the black hole, cloaked in an invisible boundary called the event horizon. Cross that horizon, and there is no return. Time itself stretches and slows near its edge, creating a place where science brushes against the impossible. For decades, scientists have studied black holes with both fascination and dread. They cannot be seen directly because they give off no light. Instead, their presence is revealed by their effects: stars orbiting nothing, light bending unnaturally, X-rays bursting from matter being torn apart at their edge. Each discovery has left astronomers with the same haunting thought: these monsters are real, and they are far more common than we once believed. Somewhere out there in the darkness, countless black holes drift unseen, like hidden sharks in an endless ocean. Most black holes remain anchored where they were born, sitting at the hearts of galaxies or in the ruins of star systems. They are dangerous, yes, but at least they stay in their place. But not all black holes obey this rule. Some are cast adrift, hurled into space by violent collisions between stars or galaxies. These are the wanderers, the rogue black holes. Unlike their anchored cousins, rogues have no home, no fixed orbit. They roam through the cosmos like ghost ships, invisible and unstoppable. They travel at unimaginable speeds, crossing light years as if they were nothing. And while ordinary black holes terrify scientists for their destructive power, rogue black holes are feared for something far worse: their unpredictability. They could appear anywhere, at any time, slipping into a solar system silently, long before we ever knew they were near. It is this difference that shakes even the most rational minds. A regular black hole may be horrifying, but it is a known horror. A rogue black hole is a lurking nightmare, a hidden assassin wandering through the universe. And in the infinite darkness of space, it is only a matter of chance whether Earth will remain safe or one day find itself in the path of such a monster. The universe is vast, silent, and filled with wanderers. Among them are some of the most frightening travelers, imaginable rogue black holes. Unlike the black holes that sit at the heart of galaxies or remain in place where massive stars once lived, these rogues are drifters. They move through the darkness with no destination, no warning, no pattern. Imagine an invisible monster the size of a city, carrying the mass of several suns, gliding silently across the night sky. It makes no sound, no light, and gives no sign of its approach. Yet its presence is powerful enough to tear apart worlds, bend starlight, and rewrite the paths of entire solar systems. This is the reality of rogue black holes. But how do such wanderers come to exist? Astronomers believe that they are born from chaos. When galaxies collide or stars explode, gravity can sling black holes away like stones thrown into a cosmic river. Others may form when massive stars die in the emptiness between galaxies, leaving behind a black hole that never belonged anywhere. Over billions of years, these rogues drift endlessly, never tied to a galaxy or system, carrying destruction wherever chance may guide them. Unlike stars or planets, they do not glow or reflect light. They are truly invisible, hidden hunters in the ocean of space. This invisibility is what makes them so terrifying. You could point the most powerful telescope at the sky and still see nothing, even if a rogue black hole were heading straight toward us. They leave no trail of light, no signal to warn us. The only way astronomers know they exist is by watching the world around them bend. When a rogue black hole passes near a star, its immense gravity can pull on the star's light, stretching it and twisting it like a mirror made of water. Sometimes the black hole acts like a cosmic magnifying glass, bending the light of stars far behind it. This strange effect, called gravitational lensing, becomes the only fingerprint of its presence. Scientists wait for stars in the distance to flicker unnaturally, to stretch or warp, and in those tiny changes, they catch a glimpse of an invisible giant passing between us and the cosmos. There have even been rare discoveries where stars seem to dance in ways they shouldn't, as though being tugged by something unseen. No planet, no star, nothing visible, just a shadow of gravity, pulling with a force so great that only one explanation remained. A rogue black hole had wandered near. Each of these discoveries chills the spine of astronomy, because if a rogue black hole can be detected bending the light of a star billions of miles away, then how many more could be lurking closer, hidden from sight, slipping silently past our solar neighborhood without a trace? The thought is unsettling. Every night when we look at the stars, we see beauty, constellations, and hope. But in the spaces between that beauty, hidden in the blackness, may drift silent destroyers, rogue black holes, wandering endlessly, waiting for nothing, answering to no one. And the greatest fear is not whether they exist. The greatest fear is whether one of them is already on a path that leads directly to us. At first, the arrival of a rogue black hole would not be a dramatic event. There would be no sudden explosion in the sky, no warning that people on Earth could see with their own eyes. Instead, it would begin quietly, almost invisibly, with the faintest whispers written in starlight. Astronomers, scanning the heavens as they do every night, might notice that certain stars are no longer where they should be. Some would appear to wobble, as if being tugged by an invisible hand. Others would shine strangely, their light bending and stretching, flickering unnaturally, like reflections seen on rippling water. At first, the changes might seem like small errors or illusions. But slowly, patterns would emerge, and the truth would reveal itself. Something massive, something unseen, was passing between us and the stars. As the rogue black hole drew closer, its influence would spread like ripples in a pond. Planets in distant parts of our solar system would begin to drift ever so slightly off their orbits. Tiny differences at first, so small that only the most precise instruments could detect them. A moon pulling harder at its planet than usual. A comet changing its path by a fraction of a degree. Numbers on computer screens flashing with warnings that something enormous and invisible was reshaping the delicate clockwork of the solar system. Scientists would check, recalculate, and argue until one terrifying conclusion became impossible to deny. A rogue black hole was approaching. For the rest of the world, life would continue as normal. People would wake up, go to work, laugh with friends, celebrate birthdays, and stare at their glowing phone screens, completely unaware that death itself was drifting silently toward them from the stars. Even as astronomers tried to raise the alarm, how many would believe it? To say that an invisible monster, larger than the sun and yet unseen, was moving through the darkness toward Earth, it would sound like science fiction, too impossible to be real, and yet the evidence would grow undeniable. But by the time the signs became clear enough for everyone to understand, it would already be too late. A rogue black hole moves faster than the human mind can truly grasp, crossing unimaginable distances with terrifying speed. Once it enters our neighborhood, there is no stopping it, no escaping its gravity. The first signs, the bent starlight, the shifting orbits, are not warnings we can act on. They are the universe's cruel reminder that the monster is already here, and that the countdown to our fate has already begun. When a rogue black hole enters the solar system, its presence is felt long before it ever reaches Earth. The first victims are not us, but the distant worlds that orbit at the far edges of our cosmic neighborhood. Out in the darkness, where Pluto drifts silently, the black hole's invisible hand would tug at the fragile orbits of icy bodies, pulling comets and asteroids off their ancient paths. Some of these frozen wanderers would be flung into deep space, lost forever. Others would be hurled inward, sent crashing toward the inner planets like messengers of doom. For billions of years, our solar system has danced to the steady rhythm of the sun's gravity. But now, a new force has entered the stage, one powerful enough to rewrite the entire performance. As the rogue black hole moves closer, its gravity would begin to compete with the sun itself. The planets, once bound in their familiar paths, would start to tremble under the strain. Jupiter, the giant guardian of our system, might be pulled slightly off course. Its moons, which have circled it faithfully for billions of years, would begin to shift, some colliding, some ripped away, falling into the black hole's unseen grasp. Saturn's glorious rings, so delicate and beautiful, could be shredded apart, scattered like dust across the void. The smaller, fragile planets like Mercury and Mars would not stand a chance. Their orbits would twist and break, sending them spiraling into chaos. Even the sun, the heart of our system, would feel the black hole's approach. Its outer layers could begin to stretch and twist under the immense pull, sending storms of plasma roaring into space. For the first time in its long, steady life, the sun would no longer be in complete control of its family of planets. The black hole would be stealing that power, bending the entire solar system around its invisible weight. This is what makes a rogue black hole so terrifying. Destruction begins long before it ever touches Earth. Gravity itself becomes a weapon, reshaping worlds, tearing apart moons, and scattering the harmony of the cosmos into chaos. By the time Earth begins to feel the effects directly, the solar system will already be broken. The distant planets will have been torn from their orbits, moons will be lost, and countless fragments of rock and ice will be on deadly new paths. The balance of the heavens, the same balance that has allowed life to flourish on our planet, will already have been shattered. And still, the rogue black hole will be moving closer, its silent hunger growing stronger with every passing moment. When the rogue black hole finally draws close enough for Earth to feel its full power, the world we know begins to unravel. At first, the changes are subtle, almost hidden in the rhythm of daily life. The tides grow stronger, pulling farther and higher than they ever have before. Coastlines flood more often, swallowing beaches and creeping into towns. Then earthquakes begin to strike, not in isolated places, but across the planet. The Earth itself groans under the strain of two competing giants, the sun and the black hole fighting for control of its orbit. Skies turn strange as the atmosphere twists. Storms grow fiercer, winds scream louder, and lightning tears across the heavens as if the planet itself is in rage and fear. But the changes do not stop there. The pull of the black hole begins to stretch the planet's crust, triggering volcanoes that spew fire into the skies. Ash clouds rise, blotting out the sun, casting parts of Earth into a false night. Entire regions face floods as oceans rise and crash into cities, while other regions dry and crack as weather patterns collapse. The balance that kept Earth alive for millions of years is torn apart in mere days. Animals sense it before humans fully understand it. Birds scatter in endless migrations. Whales cry in oceans that churn restlessly, and forests fall silent as if life itself is holding its breath. For humanity, the final days are not just about the destruction of the planet. They are about how we face the end together. Fear spreads like wildfire. News channels play endless loops of breaking updates, scientists giving grim warnings, leaders struggling to find words of comfort. Panic rises in the streets. Supermarkets empty, cities fall into chaos, and governments crumble under the weight of something they cannot fight. Yet, in the midst of fear, there are moments of heartbreaking unity. Families gather closer than ever before. Strangers hold hands under the same trembling sky. Across the world, people look up at the stars, knowing they are facing the same fate. Borders, nations, and divisions lose their meaning when every human heart beats against the same countdown. Some cling to hope, imagining last-minute solutions, giant spacecraft, underground cities, a miracle escape. Others surrender to despair, believing there is no future beyond the black hole's approach. Priests, scientists, children, and soldiers, every soul feels the weight of an ending that no weapon, no wall, no prayer can stop. In these final days, humanity reveals its truest face, fragile, frightened, but still capable of love. And as the black hole draws near, one truth becomes undeniable. The Earth, our home, is no longer a world alive with possibility, but a world preparing for its last breath. There comes a moment when waiting ends. The invisible pull of the rogue black hole grows stronger than anything the Earth has ever known, and the planet can no longer resist. Slowly, almost gracefully, Earth begins its final journey, drawn toward the event horizon, the edge of no return. To an observer far away, our world might look like it is stretching, bending unnaturally, as if space itself is warping around it. But for those of us on Earth, the experience would be far more terrifying. The event horizon is not a wall we can see. It is an invisible boundary, a line in space where escape becomes impossible. Once Earth crosses this line, even light, the fastest thing in the universe, cannot get away. For billions of years, our sun has lit the sky. But now, within the grip of the black hole, even sunlight bends and twists, failing to reach us as it always did. Day and night lose their meaning. Time itself begins to fracture. To those watching from outside, the Earth seems to slow down, frozen in place at the edge of the horizon. But to us, trapped within, time feels different, rushing, stretching, breaking apart in ways human minds were never meant to understand. On the surface, the experience is unimaginable. Gravity becomes a weapon of torture, pulling on the planet unevenly. The side of Earth closer to the black hole feels a much stronger pull than the side farther away. Mountains rip open. Oceans rise like towers and collapse in roaring walls of water. Cities crumble as the ground itself is stretched apart. Scientists call this terrifying process spaghettification, a word almost too simple for something so horrifying. It means that everything, planets, people, even atoms, is pulled into long, thin streams, stretched until there is nothing left but fragments. To be caught in this moment is not death in the ordinary sense. It is to be unmade, unraveled, dissolved into the very fabric of the universe. And yet, even in this destruction, there is a haunting beauty. Stars around us bend into glowing rings of light, distorted by the black hole's gravity, forming a halo that looks almost like a doorway into another world. The Earth, breaking apart, becomes part of that light show, a silent swirl of dust and fire. For one last moment, humanity witnesses the most breathtaking, terrifying sight in the universe, the very edge of reality itself. And then everything we have ever known, our history, our dreams, our laughter and tears, is pulled into silence, disappearing into the heart of the black hole. For those outside, Earth would simply vanish, no sound, no explosion, no trace. A blue planet that once held life, stories, and hope, gone forever into an abyss that allows nothing to return. The black hole moves on, silent as ever, carrying the memory of our world within its dark heart, never to be seen again. The question that burns in every human heart when faced with such a nightmare is simple. Could we survive? Could humanity find a way to escape the pull of a rogue black hole, to protect itself from the universe's most unstoppable force? The honest answer is both heartbreaking and inspiring. Against a black hole, there is no weapon we could build, no shield strong enough to resist its gravity. Once it comes close, Earth itself becomes helpless. Yet humanity has always been defined by one thing: the refusal to give up, even in the face of impossible odds. Some scientists believe that our only chance of survival would lie in leaving Earth behind before the black hole's grip takes hold. That means building ships, massive, powerful vessels, capable of carrying thousands, maybe millions of people across the void of space. Not simple rockets like the ones we launch today, but true starships designed to sustain life for generations as they search for a new home among the stars. It would not be easy. It would require resources greater than anything we have ever used before, global cooperation on a scale humanity has rarely achieved, and the courage to abandon the only world we have ever known. Yet, in the shadow of annihilation, perhaps people would finally come together, united not by politics or power, but by the will to survive. Even then, the challenges are staggering. How do you choose who gets to go and who stays behind? How do you decide which pieces of human culture, history, and knowledge to carry with you when there is room for only so much? Families would be torn apart, nations forced to make sacrifices, and every moment would be filled with impossible choices. Survival would not come without pain. But perhaps that pain would also reveal humanity's strength, the ability to love, to sacrifice, and to dream even when the sky itself is falling. Some dreamers imagine even bolder possibilities. Could we harness the energy of the black hole itself, using its unimaginable power to escape its pull? Could we find a way to bend the rules of physics, to open wormholes or shortcuts through space? For now, these ideas live in the pages of science fiction. But what is science fiction, if not the first step toward future discovery? Our ancestors once looked at the moon and thought it impossible to reach, yet we walked there in a single lifetime. Perhaps the same spirit, pushed by desperation, could drive us to escape the very monster that threatens to consume us. The truth is harsh, but not without hope. If a rogue black hole ever set its path toward Earth, survival would depend on one thing: whether humanity could unite, share knowledge, and act as one. Alone, no nation could save itself. Divided, we would fall into panic and collapse. But together, with courage, sacrifice, and vision, there might be a chance. Maybe not for everyone, maybe not for all of Earth, but for the story of humanity to live on among the stars. In the end, survival is not only about escaping death. It is about carrying forward the flame of life, so that even if Earth is swallowed by darkness, the light of humanity does not go out. When we imagine Earth being swallowed by a rogue black hole, it feels like the ultimate end darkness so absolute that nothing survives. But beyond the terror, there is also a lesson, a truth about our existence that we so often forget. The black hole does not come to punish us. It does not hate us, nor does it even know we exist. It is simply the universe being what it is: vast, indifferent, and ruled by forces beyond our control. In that realization, we are reminded of just how fragile we truly are. Think about it. All of human history, every empire, every song, every discovery, every love story, exists on this small blue planet, spinning in the middle of endless space. We argue, we fight, we divide ourselves over borders and beliefs. And yet, in the face of a rogue black hole, all of it would mean nothing. Our pride, our wealth, our power, none of it could stop the pull of gravity. The universe reminds us, with a kind of cold honesty, that we are tiny, delicate beings living in a place far more dangerous than we dare admit. But fragility does not mean weakness. It means preciousness. A flower is fragile, yet that is what makes it beautiful. Humanity is fragile, yet that is what makes our existence extraordinary. Against a backdrop of endless chaos, we love, we dream, we build, we imagine. And when we face the idea of total annihilation, it forces us to ask the deepest questions. What truly matters? What do we leave behind when the stars no longer shine on us? Are we living our lives in a way that honors the gift of being alive at all? In a strange way, the thought of a rogue black hole teaches us to value what we have now. The touch of a loved one's hand, the laughter of children, the quiet beauty of a sunrise. These moments are small, but they are everything. They are the light we create in a universe filled with darkness. And maybe that is our place in the cosmos. Not to conquer it, not to outlast it, but to shine within it, even if only for a brief time. The emotional weight of this scenario is not only about fear, it is about perspective. It is about realizing that life is fragile, that time is limited, and that our world, no matter how small, is worth cherishing. The rogue black hole may represent death on a cosmic scale, but it also reminds us to live more fully, to love more deeply, and to see ourselves as part of something far greater than we can ever truly understand. Even after all we know, all we fear, and all we imagine, one haunting question remains. Are rogue black holes still out there? The answer is, and that is what makes the mystery so chilling. Astronomers are certain that the universe is filled with millions of black holes, scattered across galaxies like invisible seeds of destruction. And among them, countless are rogues, drifting endlessly with no home, no path, no warning. Right now, as you hear these words, somewhere in the darkness of space, one of these silent monsters is moving. It does not rest. It does not stop. It simply travels, unseen, unfeeling, through the vast ocean of stars. The terrifying truth is that we have no way of knowing how close one might already be. Our instruments can detect the bending of light, the shifting of stars, but space is vast, and our technology is still young compared to the scale of the universe. A rogue black hole could be billions of light years away, posing no danger to us at all. Or it could be hidden in the shadows of our very own galaxy, slowly making its way toward our solar system without our knowledge. We might not see it until the first stars flicker, until the first planets tremble, until it is far too late. This uncertainty is both frightening and humbling. Humanity has always sought safety in knowledge. We map our oceans, we measure our skies, we study the movements of planets. Yet rogue black holes remind us that the universe will never be fully known. There will always be secrets beyond our reach, dangers too vast for us to predict. In a way, that is what makes the cosmos so awe-inspiring. It is not just a place of beauty, but of mystery, a place where wonder and terror live side by side. Could a rogue black hole already be on its way to us? Perhaps, or perhaps it will never come within 1,000,000 years. But whether near or far, the thought alone changes us. It makes us aware of the fragile thread on which our existence hangs. It reminds us that life on Earth is not guaranteed, that we are guests in a universe far larger and more powerful than we can ever control. And yet, there is something strangely hopeful in this mystery. Because even if the universe holds dangers beyond our imagination, it also holds endless wonders, waiting to be discovered. The unknown is not only a place of fear, it is also the birthplace of dreams, of courage, of humanity's eternal search for meaning. The rogue black hole may remain a shadow in the dark, but it also reminds us why we keep looking up, why we keep exploring, and why we must cherish the miracle of being alive in this fragile moment we are given. In the end, when we look at the idea of a rogue black hole, we are not just imagining destruction. We are staring into the deepest truths of existence. The universe is vast, unpredictable, and sometimes terrifying. Yet within that endless darkness, there is us fragile, small, but filled with wonder. Against impossible odds, we are here, alive, breathing, dreaming, and searching for answers. That alone is extraordinary. Maybe a rogue black hole will never find us. Maybe it will, someday, in the far future. But whether the threat is near or distant, the lesson remains the same. Life is precious, time is fleeting, and Earth, our only home, is worth protecting, cherishing, and loving. In a cosmos where entire worlds can vanish into silence, every sunrise, every laugh, every heartbeat becomes a miracle. That is humanity's place in the universe. Not to live forever, not to conquer the stars, but to shine while we can. to leave light behind in a place that can be so very dark. If this journey through the unknown touched something in you, if it made you feel awe, fear, or wonder, then join us. Subscribe to this channel and be part of a community that dares to ask the big questions, that dares to dream beyond the stars, and that dares to face the mysteries of the cosmos together. Because the universe is not finished telling its story, and neither are we.